All right, hello, welcome to Adventures in Lollygagging. We are back to playing Symbaroum tonight. We are talking about what a horrible person Rowena is for telling Atilia's mother that they've had it really bad recently, and so you should feel sorry.
It's been such a tough week.
God, that seems
so rough.
Just
so
ridiculous. But we got a full crew. Aaron's back. Aaron, how would you said you watched the episode. How would you rate their strategic or tactical decision making in the pit with Mama? What the hell is her name? Something with an R.
Ragama.
Yeah. I would when I went back to it, and I thought to myself, as an old soldier, I think the most reasonable way to characterize that is the Three Stooges drunk and blindfolded.
Yeah.
It was a thing of beauty. I loved every second.
It's pretty great. I like the Assassin's Creed reference, the call out, which is pretty fun, and her just diving down. But I also like the moment when like the blood started squirting. It's like, oh, we got it. And then just squirt. Oh, shit. This is bad.
Falling in, getting trapped, crawling out, getting trapped, jumping in. I was like, you guys are awesome.
I set up a way out before I jumped in.
That's true. That's true.
I kept picturing it because like I look at like a V, and then at the very top of the V, like a snow cone basically from the side, and Jinzo and Arena are caught in the middle, and then like Nazca and Damien are on the bottom with big old Mama Ragama, which is
I thought it was like a funnel web spider, and her sitting at the bottom.
That was the idea. That was kind of the idea with
Made
it.
Me
so
smile.
It was fun. I enjoyed playing. I enjoyed getting to do like some of the acidic blood stuff because like we've been playing a lot of Alien and watching.
And that would have messed Madjac up because that would have circumvented his regeneration. So
yeah, that's right. Because when you take regeneration,
weakness is acid. Yeah,
you have to have a weakness, and Madjac picked acid. So every character that we have from now on is going to have acid and armor-piercing weaponry, and no one's going to live. No one's going to live. We were looking at. I was looking at Melissa's. I'm calling Melissa out again. So I was looking at Melissa's character sheet and realized that Melissa took like Symbolist, which is a specific school kind of like magic. And has no spells associated with, like, didn't take the spell. So she, like, it opens her up the ability to do symbolism, but she didn't take any spells. So, got to figure out how to fix that, Melissa.
I was looking back at my character sheet, and I planned to do beast lore, and then realized that was going to be, like, duplicative. And so it was, like, a last-minute shift away from beast lore and over to symbolism with my last, like, little bit that I had. And, it is non-ideal.
At some point, for the people who were there in the beginning, we might do like a lemon law thing if you've like really screwed something up and haven't used it.
I've done nothing with it.
Yeah, because you can't. You didn't take any of the symbol spells. So, because basically, like, there's like symbols that are spells or runes or whatever they're called, something like that. So that's that. But one of them is pretty cool. I can't remember what they're all called, but one of them essentially like gives you extra armor and stuff. So it kind of creates this bit of armor around you, which is fun. And I think another one, and was this symbolism? I can't remember, but it lets you make a little stone or wood golem that slowly grows a person, like a small personality. This is such a Jeremy thing. This is such a Jeremy ability, and like it actually gets XP and stuff as you go. But that was pretty fun when I was reading through that. I'm like, that's fun.
Wow, that is.
It reminded me of your die character.
Yeah.
You guys turn around and a giant condor sweeps down and picks up Demian, and you never see him again.
Now I know what my backup character is.
In Trust, a new character. All right. Well, we get started. So last time around, you all decided to travel over to Blackmoor because you were kind of following up on a lead after Madjac and Demian got attacked by some strange folk out in the woods trying to release the kitty. You spoke with Olivia, Atolia's mom. You spoke with that missionary friend of Demian's and also friend of Olivia's, Arthur, who performed Atolia's funeral ceremony. Spoke with them at the grubbery. They were able to tell you a little bit about Gallimar, who actually had a good reputation, supposedly, and was known for taking in very sickly folk that were kind of on the fringe of society and didn't really have any other options. And they noted that Ragama was the name of his mother. And then during the conversation, Jinzo, you noticed like a group of people got all weird about it and left, and they slipped away. Olivia and Arthur, they both directed all of you to the southeast section of Blackmoor. They said that's somewhere down there is where Gallimar lives. They don't know specifically. You circled around for about an hour or so. All these eyes were on you. Very sickly, very unfriendly folk. Eventually, you got directed to a tent where a couple people were guarding it, and they described Gallimar as sleeping, and you couldn't go in. But then you pressed them, and they didn't really press him very hard, and then they let you inside. And inside, it became very apparent that Gallimar was dead, as there are 2 arrows sticking out of him, or at least arrow wounds, I should say. Rowena, you figured out it didn't happen all that long ago. And then the floor began to wobble. Those guards outside started pulling these floorboards out and kind of revealing this plank. And so you all started falling down. Or at least a couple of you did. It was this deep, dark pit. There were these hornets and such. Jinzo lost his balance. You fell into the pit. You landed next to this swollen abomination, this older woman, this monstrous mouth, pustules and stuff like popping out of her. It was nasty. And she started to bite you as you were trying to sneak off. She bit you in the leg. Acid sunk in. And then she started casting entangling vines to let you leave. And then more planks started getting removed. More hornets were swarming. Rena at some point fell in. And then I think Nazca and Damien, in inverse order, leapt into the pit. You 2 managed to kill the abomination, but it also sent a bunch of acidic blood all over the place, which wasn't great. But everyone survived. And after some effort, you all emerged. And it was about, I think it's about evening time. And you realize that all of the followers that had been looking at you that were around here were suddenly gone. And we're going to pick up. Shortly thereafter as we see Nazca and Jinzo and Rowena and Damien, who look fairly worse for wear. Even those of you who didn't take a whole lot of damage, like Damien, your armor is probably all nasty and sort of smudged up from the acid and this and that. Some of you are probably looking pretty weak. As you step into the grubbery, it's past dinner rush, and there you see Madjac and Olivia just like taking a couple shots or something like that off in the corner, and that's what we'll start. So how does this play out? What do you guys want to do?
Rowena, who took no actual damage in that, is still going to be like heavily resting on her staff as she does.
It's been a rough day for you.
Oh, Madjac, there you are.
Yeah, I'm exactly where I said I was going to be. Consoling a friend's mother. What did you all have? Look at you all.
You missed out on a bloody abomination. Where were you?
It was, terrible.
I was here where you should have been. And didn't I not tell you? If you plan on running off and doing something foolish / suicidal or stupid, to come get me first so I could at least try to help keep you alive.
Well, that would be nice if it wasn't an ambush.
We thought we were going to give them some peace of mind, let them know we're not here to hunt witches, that there's no witch hunt going on. We were here to help. And then there really was a witch, and it bled acid all over us, and it was just it was a turn of events.
Did you hunt her?
No, more like fell on top of her.
Oh, okay. Did you kill her?
Very much so.
Yeah.
Did you collect any trophies or any of this acid you're talking about? I mean, that we could sell that.
Well, that would be a thing, except Nazca almost died, and I really didn't want that to happen. So it seeed like getting her out of there was more important.
Your priorities were a little off, Sir Damien, but I get
disagree.
You'd have been fine. You're tough. You're a queen's whatever the hell you are. You'd have been okay.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah,
it did this to metal, and it was on her skin. I feel comfortable with my choice.
All right, here, I'm just going to throw this out as some advice. The next time you're fighting something that bleeds acid, pick up a bow and do it from 100 yards away. That's been my gig all along. Much safer that way.
Be much nicer if they didn't pull the floor out from under us and most everybody fell down the hole.
You guys need to be a little quicker on your feet then.
Actually, I did manage to stay out of it, but people were in and, they would have died, so we had to jump in.
once he jumped in, it ruined my plan of feeding the son to the mother, which would have, I believe, probably also alleviated the situation for a moment.
It was a turn of events.
Well,
So it's been a rough bit. It's been a rough bit. As like there's starting to be fingers pointed in Morena's. Like it was rough. It was rough. We're looking much worse for wear. But Madjac.
how about the rest of her followers? Are they going to be coming after us now?
They don't seem like they have the will or skill to do a whole lot. But
Well, I mean, they did ambush us once already.
Not
Yeah.
effectively from what you guys said. Also,
true.
this fellow was riddled with arrow holes, by the way.
It was
Who
yours,
shoots the bow
Madjac.
again,
I think that
Madjac?
was yours from this morning.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was the first guy that you shot. It's so strange though, because by all accounts, it sounds like he had a good reputation. I don't understand how this happened. And half the people there are like missing teeth, like they rip out their own teeth and sell them, I guess.
Yeah.
They
The
were
blight's in their
definitely-
blood, probably. You know, they've been corrupted. It
Yes.
doesn't always just physically corrupt. Sometimes it gets into your mind and plays havoc with your emotions.
Oh no.
Yeah, the dark force
Perhaps
can
we
rip
shouldn't-
your soul out and spit on the ground.
We may not want to stay here, though, just in case there's some regrouping happening. We
yes,
might
I'm
be
quite-
outnumbered, and we might not want to stay too much longer.
Yes, Rowena,
Olivia,
we're definitely done with Peasantsville.
Olivia clears her throat. It's like, God damn it, what's her voice again?
Irish.
It's like, we'll all be fucked. So what you're saying is you went to down to the southeast, you caused a whole bit of ruckus, and then you don't know where all those folk are. And then you came back to my place again. Oh dear. Oh, Preos, bless me. Oh goodness. And now you're leaving. Oh, okay. Because I know you have so many troubles on your plate.
It's been, you know, the
Nazca will look at Rowena and Jinzo.
It's too much fun.
It's going from bad to worse. Just
No, it went from worse to, well, it's not quite as bad. For me, things have improved in the past day or so.
well, I think we may soon need to go have a conversation with another mother about what may have happened to her child. So
Well,
No.
it's very sad.
hopefully you've taken some lessons from the things that went wrong when you talked to me.
And Rowena sort of looks to Jinzo and Madjac a bit.
Yes. Yes.
Befuddled.
Olivia,
about that.
don't worry. You're going to be fine out here. Father Arthur will take care of you. I'm sure they're not going to be coming after anybody in Blackmore. They were obviously focused on us for whatever reason. So don't worry about that. And I am sure our next conversation with a mother looking after her child will go a little more diplomatically than our conversation with you.
Well, I'm pleased to hear it. Now, you all look terrible. Absolutely terrible. See, like, she'll run around and she'll start feeding you, like, whatever she has left over. So there's, like, some bread, some broth, something really basic. And she just starts scattering around and kind of sitting it down in front of you. Just, like, go eat. It's fine. Go ahead. It's the leftovers.
Ah.
Thank you.
Well, this one has
Oh.
spicy roots in it.
Are you sure you have spare?
Well, it's not spared. The bread's about 2 days old. But if you dip it in the broth, it tastes just like it's brand new.
It's the best because the outside part is kind of crunchy.
If you
She
say
nods.
so.
It's my
All
favorite part.
right.
I've lost my appetite after that abomination. Is there a basin I can wash myself in?
Oh, I'm sure we've got some. I've got some water in the back. You can. It's a little bit dirty, but it's cleaner than what's currently on you, if you like. So
I'll be in back.
And so you go out back, you find like a big water barrel that she has set up, and it's not the cleanest thing in the world, and you just start splashing around, cleaning yourself as best you can. It's evening time, sun's going down, sunset. So I guess the question for you all is, what's your plan? What are you doing today? Or the rest of the day,
We're
I should
supposed
say.
to be meeting
That's tomorrow.
Lysindra?
That's tomorrow night.
Oh dear,
Tomorrow.
that's
Okay.
tomorrow. I know you've lost track of time a little bit, but
That's a good point. Thanks for always having my back there, Nazca.
yes, of course. I love helping you.
I feel that in everything you do and say.
I'm glad.
You two are so sweet.
We're-
I love seeing this.
Well, how about this? It's evening time. Let's go to the Barbarian Enclave, see if Dismas and Gwydion showed up at Dismas' mom's encampment. See if we can try to tie the loop on that. They've been gone for over a day now. They've got to be somewhere. And if they're not there, then we need to perhaps start to assume that they've run afoul of Kargoy.
Yes, if that's what it takes to get you there, honestly, having them believing to be at Salamos's house, I don't believe it's very optimistic on my part of it, knowing him.
Yeah, but I'm a good hunter. I want to close the loop on this before we start jumping to assumptions.
Very well. Rowena, dear, you're okay with Medicus, right?
Yes.
Great. Here's a herbal cure. Can you use it on me? Thank you.
Oh yes. Of course. Happy to be of assistance.
Okay. Give us that cunning test then.
All right. And
As
we've been getting
everyone
some...
finishes eating and cleaning, and you tend to Nazca.
I'm gonna take a +1 on that because
Okay.
generous audience. Roll the cunning first. Yeah.
Nice.
Result margin of 8. So now, would you like to roll your own d6, or would you like me to roll a d6?
You can roll it. Okay, we'll see how good your
So
luck
you can
is.
blame
later.
it on her if it's
Yeah.
bad.
Reap what you sow, Nazca.
Yeah, okay,
Yeah, that's a one.
that's 1 plus?
Yeah,
No?
just a
Nope.
1.
Just the one.
Okay.
Just a 1.
Oh, 1 thaler down the drain. All right, good efforts, dear.
Anybody
Okay.
else?
Madjac walks over by Nazca and just pricks his thumb really quick just so she can see it heal up instantly. Yeah. That was a... Hey, if you go to the Queen, or whoever the hell it is your paymaster, and get us some valor, maybe we can get some better.
Oh, you'd like me to try to get you a job with the nobles? Is that what you're saying?
I just want to get paid for the work we're already doing.
I presume
imagine
at
working for
the
a noble
beginning. Why didn't you secure a contract? I know I came into this halfway through, but I had assumed that you would have gotten something in writing.
Are you kidding? Dealing with those holy rollers?
Yes,
They're
that's
not
why you
gonna-
get it on paper, because they will always swindle you.
Yeah, they don't ever... Well, maybe to the likes of you, but not for the likes of us. They're not going to put ink to paper.
Well, you do have my efforts now, I suppose. So that could be a thing in the future.
Now we're getting to become friends.
I also like getting paid sometimes.
Well,
Jinzo,
bless your
you're
mercenary
also
heart.
looking not well, yes?
My leg's killing me.
Here,
Just take a
I
look.
will see what I can do. Gonna
Do you have another one?
take another audience, roll my cunning. So I can just do straight medicus.
Yeah. It only gives them one,
I did
though,
succeed.
I think.
I don't have, so it's D4 with medicus without the normal cure, so it's
Oh.
Oh, gotcha.
long. Would you like to roll
You're
the
right.
D4, or would you like me to roll the D4?
You did so well last time. You can roll it.
Oh man.
What are the chances she rolls
Great.
2 ones in a row? What are the chances?
Pretty
Very
good.
high.
Yeah.
Very, very high. One might say 100%.
Wow.
Oh, wow, you are fairly consistent, Rowena. Jinzo, that looks marginally better.
Feels better already. Now, this
Oh.
barbarian enclave, have we been there before?
Yeah, I know where it's at. I used to visit Gwydion and Dismas there.
And they'll let us on. Well, look at us, 5 Ambrians.
Oh, they'll let me through. They know me. I'm sure you guys will be fine.
Okay.
A bit
And if
nervous, but
not-
if you say so.
Run away. I mean, you'll be good.
And just so everyone knows, the High Chieftain's envoy is essentially Dismas' mother, That's what Jeremy and I kind of drew up a little bit. And that they have a specific place within Thistlehold. So they're actually towards the northeast section a little bit, not that far from Black Brew. It's right around the corner of Haliban's Ring in Thistle Street. Is sort of you should be able to see it if you go back to the Thistlehold map. So is that it? Is our business concluded in Blackmore? Are we ready to head back? Okay.
So
Yeah, I think the whole
so.
reason we were to follow up on the Ragama stuff, so that's taken care of.
Okay. Do you let anyone know that there is an abomination sitting in a pit in the southeast section of the town?
Petrolia's mom.
Okay, you just let her know and she'll take care of it?
Yeah.
Arthur?
Well, Arthur.
If Arthur's nearby,
Father Arthur.
Okay. So
Hopefully
we'll
have
say, we don't have to actually play the scene out, but we'll say we make a quick stop at the missionary fence where Damien, you can kind of seek out Arthur. You'll know where to find him. You inform him of what you found. He is quite shocked, as the reputation of Gallimar was always a very good one. But he will rest assured make sure that the proper authorities, he'll speak with either Erebus, like with Coral. He'll try to get the information to Coraldo Erebus, or more than likely one of the black robes and stuff will kind of take care of it.
And Father Arthur, if they if they cut loose with any valor for the services rendered by this fine troop of warriors, make sure to give half of it to Olivia and keep the rest for the mission.
He's like, I don't think we'll be getting paid for this, but if
I doubted
we do,
it, but just in case.
Normally for our chat, we are not. And you look around, they're missionaries, like they're Servola's missionaries. It's just like some of them walk around barefoot and stuff. So like we will forward the money to those who need it most. Rest assured. And we'll say at this point, a little high five for Damien as he leaves, and then you all travel back. We'll say you get to Thistlehold right as the sun is sort of fully down. It's kind of dark out now at this point. Some basic hemming and hawing, but eventually, because of who you are and Nazca maybe pulling a string, or those of you who have maybe come and gone before, you don't really have any issues. The High Chieftain's Envoy, if you go back over to the Thistlehold map, I will move you all towards where that would be. So you come in through the eastern gate, as is the kind of the closest one to where the route to Blackmore, and the walk is not too bad. You kind of pass by maybe Sun Temple as like the tail end of like evening services, and you see some people scattering about the road. Ophelio's road gets a little bit busy. You go past the Park of Elders, etc. But eventually you find your way to the High Chieftain's Envoy, which in and of itself is, think of it, it's like it doesn't look any particularly different from most other buildings here. It's a little bit bigger, and you do see that there is a significant number of barbarians that seem to be lingering about. You see some out front, but they're definitely the types of barbarians that you can tell just by looking at them have spent a significant amount of time amongst Ambrians and have probably adopted certain types of standards, like their clothing changes here and there and otherwise. But if you go in, are you trying to specifically petition Dismas's mother? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Who makes the petition? Is it Madjac?
Probably.
And Madjac, just generally speaking, like, what is it you say when you speak to one of her attendants to deliver this message?
I seek a short audience with the lady, in question about her son Dismas and his guardian Gwydion, who we've not seen for a day now. We wish to find out if they're here within the compound, or if she has heard word of them, and if not, to provide her some news about what we suspect may have happened.
So they take down almost impassively. You can't quite get a read on this person. They disappear for a few minutes. They return, and we'll say it's the person you're speaking to will say it's a relatively tall, like sinewy, muscular woman with all various tattoos and such kind of appearing underneath some of her sleeves. And she says, "Come with me." And she leads you all into a hall, like a greeting hall. If you've been here before, Madjac, this is probably a familiar place. It's kind of where the envoy Vicona is likely doing business with people who are petitioning. And it's very dark in here. You can see there's braziers that are their coals are still going a little bit, but it's barely giving a lot of light. The woman who leads you back waits for you all to enter and then turns around and closes the door, keeping herself on the opposite side of the door so you can't see her anymore. And you hear a throat clear. "You have come with news of my son?" And when you look around, you can see the braziers just get a little bit brighter all of a sudden. And at the far side of the room, you see there is Envoy Vicona, Dismas's mother, and you can see right behind her is a gaunt figure with very wild, unkempt hair. And you've got like a face that's just deeply lined by like years and years and Davokar, just like this intense stare. And you would know this to be Madjac Yoraman. It is basically her witch trustee or advisor. And Vicona herself is not sitting but standing. The two of them are basically standing on this small dais at the far end. And Vicona is very tall, and you can see she has very sharp features, like nose, cheekbones, etc. And her eyes, she kind of gives kind of the idea of a hawk when she's looking down, as if she has this intensity to her. But nonetheless, she doesn't seem to be immediately threatening you all. She has these long braids, and there's all these small charms and stuff. And you can tell that her garb definitely has a mix of barbarian furs, but also Ambrian fabrics, and it's got this bridge between the two. You see Dismas in her, like you do, although he is obviously much younger in her, and she's just a little bit, keeps probably her appearance a little bit more than he does. "What is it you know of my son? He has not returned, and his guardian has not returned either."
Envoy Vicona, this is what we feared, and we have been looking to try to find an answer as to where they went. Last night, they were seen in a bar, cavorting with some dwarfs. Spectacle, thank you, Nazca. And that it's our understanding that, whether slightly inebriated, they went to confront the suspected mastermind of the attack on Father Sarvola's missionary house that happened 2 nights ago. The suspect is an old Ambrian war hero, Kargoy Salamos. Apparently he's leading a group of disenfranchised or nobles who seek to elevate Prios even greater than he is already within Thistlehold. We fear that, based on everything that we've heard, that they went into his house and never came out again. Evidence would suggest perhaps the following morning their bodies may have been removed by wagons because the roads were blocked off. But we, with our limited political influence, have not been able to get to the truth of this. I had hoped that we would come here and find them simply returned after a night's debauchery, but if they're not here, and they're nowhere where we would normally find them, I fear that they are either in the clutches of Kargoy Salamos, or he has already done the unspeakable and sent both Gwydion and Dismas to your ancestors.
This whole time she's been listening, nodding occasionally, never, like, her face never kind of goes one way or the other. It's kind of very, very much just listening impassively. And at the end, she says, "You all have been friends to my son. You have assisted him. And Gwydion as well.
Rowena and I have known them. Rowena and I have known them for quite some time socially.
Yes.
Jinzo and Sir Damien and Nazca have just most recently come to our investigations. Sir Damien has never even met your son or Gwydion, unfortunately.
Terribly sorry, ma'am.
Thank you for your concern, but until I have more evidence, I do not want condolences. I want answers. So, you say that Gwydion and Dismas approached him on their own? And where were the rest of you when they made this decision?
We are trying
That's not the plan.
We're piecing together rumors that we've heard from people in the street and people who saw them pass by. They were simply enjoying themselves at spectacle at the end of the night. Whatever conspired to make them decide to go there in the middle of the night and confront this man in his home is beyond me. But as Rowena said, that was not our plan. We were trying to formulate a deeper investigation so we would have enough evidence to take to the authorities, not attack a war hero or confront a war hero in his home.
I see.
He's well guarded and a very
Sounds as
dangerous man.
It sounds as though Gwydion has failed me once again. I must ask you, are you certain that this war hero is responsible for the deaths? There seems to be a significant amount of uncertainty here.
Apologize, Envoy. There is no certainty. All we have is circumstantial evidence and a strong indication that he, as one of the nobles, was involved in the attack on Father Sarvos's missionary.
There are things that we know. That is something we know. We just don't know exactly what happened to Dismas or Gwydion. But we do know the kind of company that Cargoy Salamos has been keeping of late. Of that we are certain.
And we are fairly certain that they did go to his house. We just don't know what happened in the house.
Fill in some blanks of information. When we investigated or tried to find them this morning, we spoke with the dwarves who talked about the barbarians being exuberant about cutting the head of the snake off. We had been at the spectacle before to follow two other nobles to see if we could find them. When we went to investigate the street near where they were said to have gone, we spoke with a waiter and some other people who said that they recalled a very noisy barbarian being on that street. So circumstantial evidence does point to this, but we don't have the solid proof.
She leans back for a second, and that gaunt witch figure leans forward and whispers something in her ears. It's not completely quieted. Like you could hear it, but you can clearly tell they're speaking in like a barbarian tongue to add an extra layer. She turns back to you all and she says, "This Cargoy Salamos, you say, is well respected. He is a war hero."
He's an Ambrian war hero and a devout follower of Prios and is well respected amongst the noble houses. From my understanding, Nazca may be able to enlighten us further on that.
He was a great war hero. When I was a child, he was a knight in shining armor. Unfortunately, he lost greatly during the war. His family, his wife and child. And now he strongly seems to be more reclusive, more angry, more depressed. Not great emotional combinations.
You see? Do you bring me this news because you wish to wash your hands of it? Is that why you are here? Clear your conscience? No. Or do you wish to strike back? Avenge your friends.
For friends of mine. I'll see Cargoy Salamos pay for his crimes, but I ain't going to need help.
My dear
Even
Madjac.
I'm not able to walk into his house and do anything about it right now.
Why is that?
Well, he's got guards out front, for one thing. Two, it would start a fairly strong political backlash that would probably result in us getting our necks cut off.
Do you think that the High Chieftain's envoy making a move on this war hero would not cause a political backlash? Miss
No.
Nazca, your assessment of the political state of affairs here is a little bit wanting. You all are scattered groups of nothings. If you were to do something, it would not blow back on me or any of the factions with which you might ally yourself. If I were to send some of my agents, that is a different story entirely.
As Madjac said, some of the reason that we came here was in the hopes that while we are out thinking the worst, that they may just be here recovering. So some of our trip here was to rule that out, that we are worrying about the worst case scenario, and perhaps they were just here to recuperate and, as Madjac said, sleep off a bad night. So we were...
I am aware of that, and you can see that they are not here. You do not need to condescend to me and explain to me that's something I already know. Madjac did a perfectly adequate job of explaining his intentions for coming here. You do not need to repeat it, Ordo.
I said that simply to say that we didn't have next steps planned.
I see.
100%.
Well, do you wish to...
That being said, you say you don't have a lot of political sway in this
I did not
world.
say that.
No.
I said that if I were to act against a well-known Ambrian figure, that would cause a great deal of trouble. I am the representative of the High Chieftain in Thistlehold. If the representative of the High Chieftain acts against an Ambrian war hero, the High Chieftain himself acts against an Ambrian war hero. What do you think would happen if such a thing were to become known? It seems to me
all around.
It seems to me that a better course of action, if we want answers and vengeance, is to piece together a ragtag group of individuals with no clear allegiances to anyone of note, who might be more capable of finding the information that we need. And should something befall them, their deaths or their discovery would not cause a war that we do not want.
I would ask one question of you, Envoy. If we find that Cargoy Salamos is responsible for the death of your son, Dismas, and our friend Gwydion, do you want him alive, or do you want him dead, or do you want him politically humiliated?
She kind of holds up her hand. Oh, I do not know what you are talking about, Madjac. I am certainly not giving you an order. What you do with your time is up to you.
Understood. Well, if you're not ordering us, but let's say we had some needs for supplies and perhaps other things. If we happen to move around the enclave here, would it be something we might find before we were leaving?
Go ahead and roll a persuasive.
It certainly wouldn't go amiss, as we have,
We've got expenses.
If I can give the help action.
Any modifier?
Yeah, sure. If you want to, is anybody else looking to kind of help out with this? This might affect the modifier here. So Nazca is making a case. Okay, anybody else want to try to help Madjac? This is just I'm just going to give him a floating effect. Is Jinzo or Demian or Rowena? Want to say anything to help
Damien
out?
really feeling comfortable asking for something from her.
Yeah. It's kind of awkward.
And we
right?
got the two greedy ones out front. It's all good.
And plus, like, the whole Salamoy thing hasn't been like directly said to Damien before, so he's just dumbfounded by this whole conversation.
Didn't you mention at one point where it's like, oh yeah, he's a great guy?
Yeah, he loves him. Basically, like, he's hearing
That's
like,
right.
oh yeah, that was my dad's friend, and what?
Mm-hmm. Okay. Okay.
That
Now it's gonna
explains
make a
the
case.
faces. That makes a
What
whole lot of
about-
sense.
Does Rowena or Jinzo add anything to this? This is really just to see if you guys can get some cash. Get some.
Yeah, I'll
some-
guess at Madjac and saying, like, if he's one with the resources, he knows how to use it.
Okay.
I wouldn't be personally asking for it.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, Madjac, we'll give you a +2 on your roll. One's for Nazca, one for Jinzo.
Come on, baby. 8 with a result margin of 7.
She like looks at you and she says, I am afraid I cannot be seen to be providing aid to anyone who would threaten harm against an Ambrian citizen. For if I were to do that, then it would mean it's an act of, well, war. And if I were to do that, then the High Chieftain would be so. I am afraid that I most certainly cannot. And she just kind of like nods her head.
I understand, Envoy. I respect your position. And as a true and fervent lover of Prios' fiery balls, I would never think to indicate that I was going to harm an Ambrian war hero. However, things happen in Thistlehold. So we're just going to kind of make our way out of the Enclave, and we'll see what we run across on our way out. And just keep your ear to the ground. Who knows what could happen in the next few days.
I thank you for stopping by and informing me about the news of my son, who is clearly missing.
Clearly.
Good night.
Good evening.
Night, man.
And so as you guys like walk out, doors open, you go out to the front door, and you feel like a sudden weight as the woman who had let you in kind of pushes a little sack into Madjac, your arm as you pass by, kind of going out onto the streets again. And inside, we're going to say there are a total of 10 Thaler.
Nice.
That is
Nice.
2 Thaler each. That is so good right now.
No, Madjac's keeping all of that. What are you talking about?
He's going to
That
give it
came
to
into
Olivia.
Madjac's
He
possession.
runs back to Blackmore,
Oh,
tosses it to
He's like,
Olivia.
here you go. No, what we do need, he would definitely say, let's pool this because we need to figure out what we need to purchase to make this happen. And Nazca, I'm not trying to imply that you're a conniving, devious, heartless, backstabbing poisoner, but if you are those things, we are
Yes.
probably going to need poison.
It's quite nice. I can make certain things like, well, Rowena, admittedly, if we do stop by and pick up some herbs, I can try to make some more herbal kits if you want them, but also I can do a little bit of poison if I get a little bit of that as well.
How
Yes,
comfortable
I
are
can
you
try
with
again
killing his
tomorrow.
entire household?
Oh, it shouldn't be a problem at all. He's really not in. Sorry, Sir
Not
Damien,
very-
do you want to just like cover your ears and start to sing your favorite hymns?
No, this is a lot.
He's a
Madjac,
heartless murderer.
we should have had
Did
this
we?
discussion
That's
back when we were separated.
Yeah. Sorry about that, Sir Damien. So, catch you up. Cargoy is a heartless murderer who tried to kill Father Sarvola and all the children and elderly who were trying to get food. He tried to burn them all alive. He and some of his noble friends, who I think just kind of consider this Prios' sport. So we've decided that perhaps we need to even the playing field. And he did just kill one of my best friends and, as you can hear, the High Envoy's son. So he's got some comeuppance coming his direction.
For context, he thinks he's doing the right thing. He thinks that things have been a little bit lax and that an increased strict following would have possibly prevented
that might
what
have
happened.
been with Brittany, not with us.
Well, he may believe that, but I never consider burning up a whole bunch of poor people to be the way to send the right message.
So
Essentially-
I'm happy to listen to everything that you're saying. I just want to put out there, I do not feel comfortable marching into his home with the intent of murdering him.
Oh no, we're not going to do that. We're going to poison the food delivery, so when he eats, he dies.
Okay, Sir Damien, at this moment, Father Servola is in hiding, and I think it would be a good idea for you to go make sure he's doing well, see if he needs to be brought any food or water. Just have a relaxing evening.
That's very kind of you to offer, and I know I am a fool, but I know better than that. No, I will stay with a lot of you. You're half dead, honestly, so no, I don't think I should leave you.
I mean, if you want to stand up fight, we can always break our way into his home, kill his guards, and you can challenge him into a one-on-one combat. But that sounds really messy.
It's a lot, and there was a lot of what was the word that got thrown out a lot? Circumstantial, which is a big word for me. But it sounds like there's a lot of we think and this points to, and it's just really hard for me to feel comfortable poisoning somebody off of we think and it seems.
So
I get that.
What we didn't tell the High Priestess was, and there's been signs of noble activity. Oh, I should not be the character to say this. I apologize. Hold on. I believe this is more Madjac or Rowena and
I think
Jinzo.
any of the I think Jinzo, Reyna, or Madjac would you're talking about the actual house where they found all the
I'm
the
like,
stuff.
wait, no, was different character then.
Yeah. I can explain. So, Sir Damien, when we were tracking down the people who tried to burn Father Servola and all of his followers, the children, the elderly, the people we were running in and out of fires to save while they attempted to destroy them. We tracked some of them back to a deserted building, and the group of nobles had been meeting there. We had the sigil of each of them from their chairs. We had the evidence that points back to this cabal of nobles who've decided to take it upon themselves to be the fiery fist of vengeance for Prios. They murdered one of our dear friends down in the cellar just because we were trying to get to the bottom of why they wanted to burn peasants alive, and they nearly killed me there as well. We tracked this group of nobles that Kargoy Solomos is the leader of.
That was the lady that Arthur...
Atolia, yes, her mother. You met with her. You know Atolia. Or at least I know that you've probably seen her in Blackmore. She was horribly murdered by one of them. Right before our eyes, she bled out begging me to tell her mother that she loved her. And that was at the hands of Salamos's cutthroat killers.
Which actually did attract my attention. I will say the fact of the matter is that is when a few of the noble houses took note of these three and their interesting endeavors.
Okay, well, I don't intend to take part of any poisoning, but I was also asked to stay with you and protect you, so I'm just going to take a minute.
Well, if you're unsure, you can always go up to his front door, knock on it as a follower of Prios in your shining armor, and say, "My understanding is you're murdering barbarians in your house and disposing of their bodies in the early morning hours. Do you care to comment?" And we'll just see how it plays out. If they come out attacking, I shoot them from across the street, and we just play it out in the middle of the street. I'm okay with that.
Sir Damon, don't actually do that.
No, I know. I am. Well, so where else do we need to go tonight?
It's perhaps
probably
we
to
rest
bed
tonight.
Yes, I agree.
I think we just get some rest tonight. I think is probably the best thing, and tomorrow we'll see what leads we will follow up on, and I can bring some healing to folks again.
Okay. So we go off to our various venues. Madjac to Mihira's, Nazca back to the legation is to say, Jinzo back home, Arena back to either the seamstress. I think the seamstress's rest. We were saying you have your room, or in the tower itself, one of the two. Where would so we know where all you all go. Where does Damien go to stay?
It's a good question. I don't think he normally stays here in the town.
He could come with me to Mother Mihira's.
If you've got a spot of floor available, I'll try not to put you out too much. I'm grateful.
No, there's plenty of hay in the back. But Madjac would want to walk with Nazca a little ways, because...
Okay.
Nazca.
Yes.
So obviously we're still workshopping our plans here, but...
I liked the poisoning the food. He is known to buy good stuff from a very close by cafe.
I know, it's the way to go. But my real question is, if we're going to spend some time deciding this, how good are his household spies? Is there a chance he's got somebody planted in the barbarians and is going to ferret out that there's more going on behind the scenes than he's currently aware of? Do you know if he's got any household spies?
First off, I don't know what you're talking about. Second off, I can find out and get back to you in the morning. Excellent.
I just don't want to get ambushed while we're trying to set up an ambush.
Allegedly.
And as I said, while you're talking to your people, if you want to kick some additional Thaler our way for all this hard work we're doing, feel free.
You should have made a contract with the holy person that you decided to go with.
Well, how about I put pen to paper tonight? You can countersign it, and you can just pay us.
Yeah, that's not happening. Nice try, dear.
Well, I'm working my ankles.
I applaud your efforts.
It's pretty funny. I don't think you've ever gotten a contract. Because the Decipha stuff did that for free.
No, they never got a contract.
All of it is because Marina just wants to appease her supervisors. Is basically
one contract with Mr. Ufrenda.
That's true. That's true. The one to go down into the underworld. That's true. Yeah.
But then we did have to give up
a lot of stuff. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we did.
Everything.
Yeah.
Almost down a Dale.
Yeah. You got some back, but not all of them. Okay. Okay.
Walk with Damien and Jinzo kind of on the way.
Okay. Sure. So if that's the case, then if everyone's just retreating, let's go ahead and we'll just kind of fast forward it then. Go ahead, and everyone who needs to, go ahead and take your point of toughness for your rest, your nightly rest. So we'll say morning will event. Obviously, I'm just going to start presuming you all, while you're in town, are making decisions on where you're going to be, as opposed to, because I know sometimes we forget to say that. So it's now the 10th of Tomal, year 22. So we've been meeting a lot sort of by the Antique Plaza, because that's where Mother Mihira's is. That's also where the Thaler drugstore is. So if you want to do any shopping, you can do that as well. So you just got 10 Thaler. Is anyone buying anything from there? There are
before that, Jeff.
Yeah.
Let's say in the evening or in the morning, I might meet up with someone.
Okay. Yeah, absolutely. So we'll say maybe it's breakfast.
Yeah, sure. Over morning tea.
Okay. So we'll say that you are you're actually in a fairly nice section of the town, because even though I'm not sure if you actually specifically stay in the legation itself, or if you have apartments next to it.
Probably.
Yeah. Well, you don't actually have a family home within Thistlehold. But yeah. There's definitely places you would probably stay. But we see you, we see who, and this is just you and we're just going to say it, your sister, basically. Not that anyone else is there, but you're probably you're at some sort of bay window, maybe. There's a little table that's set up. There's breakfast, there's tea. Everything's kind of done up, and there are servants coming and going, delivering food. And the woman that we're looking at, she is She's relatively, I don't mean to say this dismissively, but she's sort of plain. She's a little bit forgettable in some, like, and it's mostly in terms of her dress. She dresses very professionally, almost looks like a librarian in some respects, shorter hair that's kind of done up. But she slides over to you what looks like a couple of like scrolls, a couple pieces of paper, and she says, this is what they were able to give us. We spoke with the people at the penitentiary and about your request, your blotchy tattoo, and there was an incident a little while ago. They had very little to say, but we were able to get a copy of the records. I hope this is important, Nazca. You really shouldn't be leveraging my office for your little projects.
Oh, dear heart, don't worry. This is, oddly enough, genuinely important. I'm afraid Salamos is stepping in it quite strongly right now.
Oh dear.
Oh, yes.
Well, that would be very interesting. Was it? No, is it something that he can be pulled back under our wing? Can we leverage this?
I think he's already done a few murders at this point in time, and you remember that fire incident at Father Servola's?
I seem to recall the debriefing.
He's gone flashy. He's a little embarrassing.
It all depends on who he murdered. If it's not that significant, then perhaps we can use knowledge of those as the leverage itself. You need to get better at this game if you expect to earn the good graces of Queen Kuno.
He's potentially murdered the son of the High Chieftain.
That's High Chieftain's envoy.
Envoy.
Yeah. Well, that's very, very interesting. But again, that certainly seems like a card that we could play. Nazca, darling, I know you and Father don't quite get along, but one thing he did taught me...
Must we?
I understand, but when you are presented with information, the worst thing that you can do with it is to waste it. And if you have information that we might use to leverage or pull an influential figure into our corner, well, the most foolish thing we can do is to rid ourselves of that person. A dead noble with skeletons in their closet is a useless noble. A living noble with skeletons that we're aware of, well, that's very useful.
That was always my initial goal, and as long as I keep my emotions out of it, that will hopefully be my final goal. We'll see.
Well, that was what his father said has always been your trouble. Use more of your head and less of your heart.
Well,
He's in
I
town,
appreciate. Oh, I don't need to see him. I'm fine. I'm sure he's enjoying your company greatly. I'm just going to take these papers now.
He's actually taken over duties at the Hall of Knights. He's been very helpful, in fact.
Oh. So I shan't be going to the Hall of Knights for a little while then. How long is he in town exactly?
Oh, for quite some time,
position?
I would think,
Okay.
yes. He is... what's the word? He is angling for something, I'm sure. Father always is.
Yes. Very well.
No.
I will keep in touch and let
Of
you know
course.
anything else I find that is important.
Yes, and again, think very hard. You can always kill a person later, but you can't bring them back once they're dead.
True enough.
She gets up and she leaves at that point. So, if you look through this little file,
Yes.
you see that it is basically an arrest record. You can see the town watch. Apparently, there was an incident about 2 weeks ago that was involving two people, a man and a woman, both Ambrians, and they got into an altercation with some folks at Saphir's treasury, which is actually right next to Mahira's agency in the Antique Plaza. It's like an auction house for like artifacts and things like that, right? And both of them, like as part of the description, they had relatively matching these blotchy tattoos on their wrists and forearms. And the names were given were Orwin and Fenya, which there's no other information about that in particular, but that's the names they gave. But what is interesting is that they were released into the custody of a man who goes by the name of Eric the Dark. And he is a well-known, retired, and highly successful fortune hunter. And apparently paid a very significant fine for the situation. And that seems to be the story.
That's Eric the Dark is whom the ranger was talking about, was it?
What do you
No,
mean?
we've heard that before. All right. I will take this information to the rest of the players.
Okay. So while Nazca was having her little breakfast thing, did anyone do any like shopping or specific business that they wanted to take care of in the morning?
Yeah, some herbal cures for me.
Okay.
Nice.
So they are a thaler apiece, and very easily acquired from the drugstore. And especially if you're going to meet at Mahira's agency, it's right next door. So the Antique Plaza, the kind of that centerpiece, you can very easy. So just mark off however many you want to buy. We don't have to really get too precise about it.
Yeah, I'll take two, and hopefully Rowena can take a look at my ankle again since it's swollen and pussy.
Okay. So I think it's fair to say that Mahira's has kind of become our meeting point, at least the Antique Plaza area. So we'll say Jinzo shows up. We see Madjac and Damien coming out from the back, maybe. And Rowena, do you want to give a hand here? Do you want to try to help Jinzo out?
Yes, of course. I'm a little better rested, so I hopefully will be more successful at this. Just sit down. Sit like that. Okay. Yes. This will be good. So I'm taking an audience for the initial cunning roll. Rolled a 1.
That's out on a 19 for a really long time.
Doesn't change anything for what I'm doing. But Long, would you like to roll a d6 or would you like me to?
You can. I give you the herbal cure.
What are the chances that Melissa rolls 3 ones in a row? I'm sorry, 4 ones technically. Oh, there we go. That's much better.
Okay. My eyes are bad. I actually thought it was a 1 again, but it's a 4.
You actually rolled a 1 on your check. You actually rolled a 1 on your check, which is nice. We don't play with crits yet. We might at some point put them in, but right now we're not. Okay, so
Jinzo, I feel much better today. I think this should do you much better. Just go easy on the
Thank you. What a relief.
This day.
Okay. Perfect. Damien or Madjac, did you have any other business that you wanted to tend to in the morning? Okay.
No, Damien would just, whatever coins were pulled out, he'll put his 2 back to Madjac. You have plans. I don't have anything in particular I need. So, however you think this will best outfit you, I'll trust your judgment.
Okay. So then we'll say everyone then meets. We'll say Nazca shows. Uh-oh. Is that me or is that Aaron? I couldn't remember.
That was Aaron.
Okay, good. Not good, but like the stream will fall at least. All right, looks like he's back. We're back. Okay. So we'll say everyone's together now. You could be around the heroes. You can find a separate corner and you can share whatever info and make whatever schemes you want to make. Mid-morning, we'll say not quite noon. What's the plan?
Just to let you guys know, I found out there were some more individuals that had that spotty black tattoo that we'd seen earlier. Do you recall that? Apparently they're called Orwin and Thenya. Interestingly, and tickled my brain, but I couldn't quite recall. They were released under the care of Eric the Black, which is the second time I've heard that name, if I'm not mistaken. But we heard it yesterday at some point in time. I'm pretty sure.
And Rowena, as Melissa is, would be like pulling out her notebook and like flipping through her notes, looking for the name Eric the Black. And I have not yet been
Eric the
successful
Dark.
at Eric the Dark. Sorry.
Oh, Eric the Dark.
I have not yet been successful at finding Eric the Dark.
Eric the Black is a totally different guy. He does totally different stuff. He's an artist.
And then there's Eric the Shadow, Eric the Umbra.
Yeah.
Can I do a roll?
If you want to do a cunning, give me a cunning test. If you want to see what you know about this man and what his reputation is, it's fine.
Okay.
You're gossip monger over here.
When did you see these tattoo things? I don't recall.
They were on. Remember when you guys were jumped at Anadea's storage?
Those guys.
Those guys.
Okay.
Rowena got some herbal cure on her fingers, so as she's trying to flip through her notebook, I rolled a nat 20. So as she's trying to flip through her notebook, she still has like some of the stuff on her fingers, and she's just not finding things.
You wouldn't know. There's nothing about the name you would know in addition to. The one thing I would say you would know is that Saphira's treasury, specifically Saphira, is a former Ordo Magica. Who actually runs the place. And again, it's just a business in Antique Plaza. It's just, again, it's like a place where, so kind of what happens is when folks come back from Davokar for these expeditions, they have all these different artifacts and things. Like, they're supposed to be in an effort to try to control the market and ensure that there aren't all these like corruption generating artifacts going into random people's hands. There's like a whole vetting process. And part of that is funneled through Saphira's, where like that they give like certificates of authenticity and stuff like that. So that's part of it.
So they're like the Sotheby's of this whole
something like
kind
that.
Of like do the. So should we go there then and inquire what this incident was that occurred?
It might be good. Jinzo, this seems like maybe a place that you've been before. It seems very adventure heavy.
Where is this again?
Just across, it's literally right next to Mahira's agency. So if you're looking at the
right there,
it's right next door. It's literally right across the street.
If it's in town, I've probably been there.
Great. Do you know the proprietor?
Yes.
Yes.
Of course I know them.
Okay.
What are we trying to get to the bottom of here?
Why did they attack us? Is there a group? If there's people with a black mark that, I don't know. I suppose I was curious to see if we can find out how many people have this. I assume that they are working with Salamos, but I don't know that they're working with Salamos. So any information, really. Information is power, and any information I get is good for me.
Agreed.
So people with red sashes burn you, and people with black tattoos try to do evil magic on you and ambush you.
Yes, it gets a little complicated.
Okay,
yes.
Yes.
Is there anybody else trying to kill you right now?
Probably.
Okay.
No, not right this minute, but
perhaps behind her with a giant clay vase.
Okay.
Wow,
also, toothless people with crazy witch moms. Okay.
Well, if the next door.
So just to be clear, we've decided we're going to spend today looking for information and not getting paid again. That's the plan. Got it.
Yes.
Got it. You guys are killing me.
You're catching on.
You got 10 Thaler last night. Get 10 Thaler.
Yeah, but I had to give most of it away.
All right. Jinzo, if you want to trot over, and if anybody wants to go with him to the treasury and start to inquire, make a quick persuasive test for me. And we'll say maybe you're a regular, or maybe you've been here before, or maybe your father is. So you can go take a +2 for this, just to see if you can kind of ask around.
I peeked at the character sheet.
Yeah, it is not. It is not his forte.
He's a charming guy. He's got this.
5 + 2 is 7. I failed.
Okay. So you come in, you start asking questions, and you're trying to pretend maybe like you know everyone or whatever, and you get summarily rebuffed, and they're like, "Excuse me, sir, but we're currently preparing for an auction later today. There's if you're here to bid, that's fine. You'll have to register, of course. But otherwise, I'm going to need you to vacate the premises. We have many things to put together to prepare ourselves. I don't know about this incident. It's no comment, as the folks say." And it's just some guy who's like essentially at the front door, and he's dressed decently, but it's just not letting you in any further. Like, I think that's fine for today.
Well, thanks for being cordial about it. If you're busy, I shouldn't bother you any further.
It's very kind of you, sir. Have a wonderful day.
Well, guys, they don't know anything.
Good job, Jinzo. Good job.
Well,
I'd like to imagine Rowena came up kind of toward the end of that conversation.
Oh, goodness.
So my question would be, would the fact that Rowena is in Ordo robes, might that be something that she might
You
be
can
able
roll a
to attempt to
persuasive
leverage
test.
To,
Yeah. You can roll a persuasive test. I'll give you a +3.
Okay. And I'm gonna, we have a generous audience, so...
So you're just going to spit in my face when it comes to giving you a +3. That's why I don't give +3. Okay.
I rolled a 6. It would have been fine either way with my persuasive of 10.
So as you're there, and as he
Raiders.
shoos Jinzo away. Oh, thank you, Lost of Caravan RPG. Thank you very much. So as this man shoos Jinzo away, he sees Rowena behind Jinzo as you stepped in. Yes, madam. Is there something I can do for you? Something I can do for Aldo?
Yes, I would like to have a moment with the lady, perhaps. Have a bit of a pressing question that needs asking.
Of course. One moment, please. And he looks and he's like, kind of, oh, are you two together?
Does that change your answer?
No, just the esteem with which I hold certain members of Ordo. And he leaves at that point because that was such a good line. And so he walks back. A few minutes later, you see Saphira come back, and middle-aged. You can see there's a little bit lines of gray, a little bit from where her otherwise like dirty blonde hair is. I'm gonna say you only roll. You probably don't necessarily know her personally. You're younger, so she's been out of the game for a bit. But she looks at you and she's like, "Can I help you with something? Is there a problem?"
Yes. We're unfortunately, it sounds like you've had a bit of a problem recently, and are just asking a few questions about that.
No, I'm quite fine, thank you. Is this an issue with? Did Master Frenda send you? Is there an issue again? I don't have time for it this morning. We're very busy today.
Yes, no, I do apologize. We'll get this done as quickly as possible. But my compatriot and I, and she's brought Jinzo in with her, my compatriot and I were tasked with inquiring about the incident that you had here recently with a few tattooed folks. I was wondering if you could shed any light on...
Barbarians? You don't normally get them here as bidders.
Yes, but there was an incident recently, and some individuals were jailed after the incident that happened here.
Oh, well, that was just oh, no, my dear, that you came here for that. Oh, that was just a misunderstanding. They had, the individuals had purchased an item for the patron. The item did not meet their satisfaction. They sought a refund, which is not something that we provide, and they got very surly with some of our staff. One thing led to another, and the town watch arrived, and as they do, a heavy hand to solve the problem. No. Everything is just fine. Just fine. Mr. Dark, Eric, he was very gracious about it all. He provide significant compensation. We have had correspondence. He is a valued customer here, and he is an ample purchaser of the goods the goods that we provide. So, no. A small little blip by two of his over-aggressive servants is certainly not enough to end a very fruitful business relationship. So you can run along now and tell Mr. Euphrander. Damn it! Now I'm saying it, Master Euphrander.
I do. Yes, I do believe I would be in quite the trouble if I were to go back and not have asked the obvious question of what was the item that they were so displeased with.
Oh, it was merely a portion of a tablet that he was discovered in a ruin deep in Maekar. He is my understanding is Mr. Dark is he is a little bit higher up in years, and he has not been an inventor himself in quite some time, but he is an avid collector now, and so he just wished to add to that collection.
And did he not then take this item as it was found to be
yes, he very
by
much
those
did.
two?
As I said, it was just two very overzealous servants of his who misrepresented Mr. Dark's interests in a manner that was easily fixed with a small bit of conversation between myself and Mr. Dark. There's really, honestly, the fact that we're having this call, that was 2 weeks ago. There have been a number of incidents between now and then. It's far more interesting than this. So, again, is that all?
Well, and she looks to Jinzo.
This Mr. Eric, has he come in himself, or is he sending servants?
Oh, no, Mr. Dark, he is a recluse. I believe he lives in the Fortune Hunters district near the Eastern Gate. That is where we ship some of his, or deliver, I should say, some of his winnings when necessary. He is a man who enjoys his privacy.
Well, thank you. I hope your auction goes well.
Oh, well, thank you very much. Now, if there's nothing else, I am going to tend to my duties.
I must, and again, I do believe I'd be in quite the trouble if I didn't ask the question. Do you have any particular specific notes on what was on the tablet?
A language, an ancient one, some Symbaroum writing, I believe. I see. Do you have any specific notes as to anything that was on there, or why are you asking these questions?
Or any such thing?
You came here asking
know how
about
it is. If we come back without all of the answers, these things do not go well for those of us that are at my level. If we are going to advance, we have to be very thorough when we are set out on a task. Yes?
It was an incomplete bit of a ritual of some kind. It is a run-of-the-mill piece of an item. We get a dozen of these every year. It's nothing to be concerned about. I can guarantee you, if it was anything of significance, we would have contacted Ordo, of course. We are not in the business of disseminating artifacts and objects that might cause significant corruption throughout the city. Don't be foolish.
Oh no, ma'am. I certainly was not insinuating anything of the sort. Just trying to ask all of the thorough questions. Thank you.
You're still at that level, are you? Where you jump and move and do everything that they tell you. You know, you're not a pet. If they wanted something to do everything they say exactly when they do so, there are creatures they could get. You can think for yourself and act for yourself. There are other routes that you might take.
So you say that you've done well for yourself. You have found a path that suits you quite well, and I wish you the best with that. And as my companion said, good day to you. Good wishes on the auction today.
Yes, of course. Thank you. And she nods and she returns to her duties, and you two leave. Okay. All right. That didn't take all that long. So, what's next for you guys? You got the whole day. You don't have a meeting until with Lysindra until basically evening, till sunset, effectively, up by Black Brew Tavern. So you have like a good, we'll say, like 8 hours, where it's up to you. What do you all want to do?
Well, Nazca, did you find out any information about what we talked about last night? Did you talk to any of your people about how they want to manage this issue? Because I'm assuming you made a full report back to, your people.
I don't know what you're talking about, but
Right.
If I were, I would say they don't necessarily want straight death. So we'll figure out maybe something other than poisoning in the future.
Well, I mean, I don't really care what a bunch of Ambrians want, but I'm willing to work with you on this. That is up until Dismas's mother decides to, do the blood eagle on us because she gets pissed off that we're not doing anything. So
it's interesting you mentioned that, Madjac, because that is her reputation.
Yes,
Okay. That is what the whispers say about her. Okay.
So we've got, a day or two before she starts irritated. We gotta have a solution to this problem, or we need to, move out of town. Far out of town, because her reach is, well, I could introduce you guys to the deep forest. We might be safe there if we get on her bad side, but might not be. So just keep that in the back of your mind, Nazca, while you're formulating your machinations.
I don't know what you're talking about, but we should probably get on with our day and do some, maybe, I don't know, what we would want to follow up with. Our next section, or our next meeting, I should say, isn't till this evening. The only thing we really might want to follow up with is finding, I guess we could find out more about Eric the Dark or Black or whatever he's calling himself these days, or check with Erebus. He hopefully is hanging around Thistlehold today and not Blackmore.
Well, it's your call. I mean, we can always try to go over to...
Or if you have a
Dark's
money-making scheme that you would like to implement to make your money that you keep talking about.
If it was up to me, I'd be out on an expedition right now, making money, doing my normal job. But I feel a little beholden to Rowena here and to the memory of Gwydion. So I'm going to see this through at least for a while.
And Atolia.
I know. Did anyone notice he didn't mention Atolia? Oh, it's interesting.
He didn't want to get choked up.
All right,
we did want to perhaps figure out something about the medallion for Erebus, yes?
So basically what you're looking at, things that leads or threads that you kind of have right now, like you said, the Erebus stuff, there's Hollow Knights. So if he's in the Hollow Knights, but that does mean Nazca's going over to the Hollow Knights. That is not too far away, and you could potentially inquire. It is morning. You're not sure if he is there or not. It's kind of 50-50 whether he's there, whether he's back in the Black Square or the Black Keep back in Blackmore. Lots of blacks when it comes to that. That was a weird way of putting that, back in Blackmore. And then the Eric the Dark stuff, you know that he is in the Fortune Hunter District, which is the same neighborhood as Lysindra. It's where a lot of well-known and successful fortune hunters have gone, so you shouldn't have any issue probably finding his place. And then Yeah, and then you know where you already know where Cargoy Salamos is. So it's honestly like you guys have a lot of knowledge of where to go. It's just a question of deciding what you want to do.
Erebus might be hanging around the Hall of Knights. I'm known there, so it's probably not a good idea for me to go in. But I'm sure the four of you can do that just fine without me.
Well, wait a second. If you're known there, you should be the one going in.
Not in
They're
a
not
good
gonna
way.
let us
No,
in.
not in a good way. It's better to be the unknown factor than the known factor in this instance.
Madjac,
Show
know
hands.
anybody
Who thinks Nazca's setting us up? Because I personally think she is setting us up. Anybody else?
You're like best friends. She would never do that.
Madjac is
Yes,
not
I
wrong.
care about Madjac so much.
You kind of
obvious.
need an inn to get into this. Where it's essentially where like knights and lords and such stay when they're visiting the hold. So regular folk with no contacts, with no noble contacts, wouldn't really be able to go in there. So it would be Nazca could get you potentially an inn. Doesn't mean he's there, but you could get a potential in. So.
All right, I will maybe go with you to the Hall of Knights, but I'm
symbol of
definitely
Erebus
wearing my hood up.
that we found, does that like have a connection to him? Like, could we show that and sort of have that deal?
It has this insignia of the Erebus family.
Well, Nazca, you get us in the door. I'm sure everything will be fine after that.
I always want to go to the Hall of Knights.
Yes. Yes, we should.
Yeah.
Should
What
we?
could possibly go wrong?
I regret bringing up this option.
I mean, we could.
We're going to meet the Blue
it's-
Sash people, and they're going to, like, summon water or something. I don't know. You
We
people
are
have insane
due-
lives.
Yeah, we are due for another attempted murder on our lives today. It hasn't yet
If you're-
happened.
If you're very uncomfortable with it, Nazca, we could instead just head over to Lysandra's neighborhood and just have a conversation with Eric the Dark. We have a lead that we can follow up there.
We do. I do wonder if my only hesitation with that is I do wonder if the ranger is going to, because she said she was going to bring us to meet a reclusive friend or something like that. Which
That's not the
sounds-
dark, though. That's we know who she's talking about there. That wasn't Eric the Dark. What was that name? Sorry, I'm gonna go back to my notes now.
Not a
Muriel?
problem. I really am happy that other people are reading
Muriel.
that section of their notes because my section has some, but
Meroel.
Mira.
Yeah, Mirowell.
okay, then
Muriel.
yes. Very good.
Yeah, so we're meeting someone else for dinner.
Ah, all right. Well, then, yes, let's go stalk this Eric the Dark Fellow.
Okay. So if that's what we decide, you can head over to the Fortune Hunters District. You know where that is. You were just there yesterday speaking with Lysandra. If you spend some time asking around maybe the people on the street, you can certainly get directed off in the right place. And you eventually, after a little bit of time, find yourselves standing in front of a 2-story structure. Very dark, weathered timber. You can see it's very rough and like kind of splintered. Lots of years of exposure. There is a narrow cobblestone street that's fairly quiet outside, and there's like this sparse, scrubby vegetation that's kind of clinging to the edges of it. You can see that the walls have these thick, thorny vines that are snaking up the outside, kind of partially obscures some of the walls and some of the windows, but it does leave what appears to be a very heavy iron door visible that little cobblestone path walks up to. You can see that flanking that path are these 2 stone statues. They're eroded. They look like figures that you can't really. They're not human. They don't look bipedal. You're not exactly what sure they are. It kind of flanks the walking path up. And you can tell that there is a little bit of cushion between this spot or this plot of land and some of the others, where you can see that there's a little bit of space between. But that's what you see is you're standing out. We'll say maybe an hour and a half later from your discussion in the Antique Plaza. So it's nearly noon, and you can see this. You're standing in front of this. What do you want to do?
Guess we just knock on the door.
Yes, I think you know what a dreary person would, I think, bring light into their life. Yeah?
Rios?
Yes. I think, Sir Damien.
We should see if he has time to talk about the Lord and Savior.
I think for the sake of my own amusement, really, I think you are the best person to open this conversation.
Well,
I really appreciate
what exactly are we going to be asking?
Why did you try to murder us?
Well, do we know he tried to murder us, or do we know that just some people with these blotches tried to murder us, and we've drawn a loose association to him?
True. Well, we know that Orwin and Thenya were brought
He's
under
an experienced collector of things, so he might know about it.
Yes, and also he got Orwin and Thenya out of prison under his sort of watch. So maybe they're there?
Maybe he knows the friends of his friends, but maybe those friends are bad friends.
I think this is a great conversation for you to be having with our lovely Eric the Dreary.
And if you need me, we can try the Ordo angle of we're just interested in seeing that tablet that he was able to procure.
I do like the Jinzo Rowena combination against any sort of conversation. I think it's a great time as well.
Mm-hmm.
Madjac is just standing sort of in the back, shaking his head, trying to remember why he's not making money today.
All right, so Damien, you walk up, you flank under these two statues that look extremely old. They are of stone. One of them kind of looks like insect-like with these 4 thin arms of some kind. The other almost looks humanoid, but with a very elongated neck and arms that kind of drape to the ground. They're very unsettling, and the fact that they've been eroded over who knows how long has sort of shaved off some of their more finer details. But that might have actually made them worse in some ways. Nice. The door itself, you notice, is very heavy. It's iron, and there does not appear to be a very clear lock, which you assume means that there's a bar on the other side. And you would probably guess that there's a very expensive commission, and very unlikely the type of thing that you would want to try to break down without breaking your bones in the process.
Okay.
Do you knock? Oh, yeah, of course not. Of course not. You knock, and there is a thung, 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 like this hollow metal. Yeah. And
Nazca nudges Madjac excitedly.
Just keep pushing.
Shaking his head.
The statues come to life, turn around, and eat Damien right in front of yours.
Son of a bitch.
It's okay. I've got my backup planned already.
We're all very excited to meet them. All right, so the door opens up, and you do see there is a figure standing in front of you that you think is probably a man, considering the shapeliness or the lack thereof of his form. But you can't see his face because he seems to be wearing a mask, honestly a mask that seems like something you might encounter like deep in Davakar, in the sense that it looks like polished wood. They have what appears to be like black and silvery kind of clothing here and there. And then you hear the voice, "Can I help you?"
Yes, sir. I certainly hope so. By chance, are you Eric?
I am not. I am in service to him.
Wonderful. Well, we would love to have an audience with him if he has time. He seems to be a man of a great many knowledges and collector of really interesting things. What a great door, too. If he'd be willing to, we would love to speak with him. I'm Damien. These are my friends.
Rowena.
What can I tell him this is in regards to?
Oh my gosh, so many different things. We were curious about tattoos and like a tablet and just lots of strange things. And like apparently he's very knowledgeable about ancient and strange things.
If you wish to learn about ancient things, might I direct you to the library beneath the Queen's Legation?
Oh, that's a very good point. But I think he also had friends that had gone to purchase something for him, and then there was like a whole issue. And I think those friends had tattoos similar to the ones that we had questions about. So maybe since he knows them, he might know about the tattoos.
And also,
I'm a terrible
in general,
investigator, but I really mean well.
Isn't it just a shame when instead of hearing stories direct from the folks who know the stories, we go and read them in a book instead? It really is lost to sit in front of someone who has stories to tell and hear them out.
I see. All of you wish to.
Tell what's personal.
Personal. Does he know you, sir?
His servants might.
What is your name?
Jinzo.
Jinzo. Rowena. Damien. And you two. Who shall I say is calling upon him?
Madjac, Maekar of Mother Mahira's agency.
Just Nazca.
One moment. And the door like slowly grinds closed and then thuds into position. You hear the bar come down and it's like 10 minutes before he comes back and he opens the door and he says, Master Eric will see you all. Please, he invites you to join him for midday meal.
It's so incredibly generous. Thank you.
You are
Indeed,
welcome.
very generous.
And he kind of like steps off to the side a little bit and like motions in with this arm. And any of you who have moderate, like vigilant, you notice on the inside of that arm, there is a big black kind of wine-colored splotchy tattoo that he seems to be taking no steps to hide.
Ah, Orwin, is it?
That is not my name.
Then yeah.
That is not my name.
Very well.
I am Henrik.
Henrik.
What man?
Master Eric awaits.
Yes, sir.
So when do you all, I presume you all go inside. I don't want to,
Yes.
okay.
Madjac looks for a moment longingly down the street, thinking this may be the single stupidest thing he's done in days. But he follows him in.
Might be the last time you see that street.
If we have 10 minutes waiting outside this door, can I get Rowena to use my other herbal cure to try to do one more to give on me?
We can do that. That's fine.
Thank you.
Rowena, you want to try? Wow, you're just going to lunch. You guys are all like, gearing up.
0% trust here.
While you're doing that, I'm going to say hello to Nat and Hat. Thank
yes,
you for
you
the
can
raids. Good to see you again.
Yep.
Thanks
and
for
Demon X
stopping
as well.
by. Demon X as well. Nice. It's good to see you.
Ask the same question. Do you want me to roll the d6 or do you want to roll the d6?
Go for it, Melissa.
Hey!
Wow.
6!
Hey, you're going to
There
live
we
forever.
go.
This is
Lovely.
fantastic.
I will not die one hit anyway.
Inside, you see the estate is extraordinarily dimly lit. It's a 2-story estate, and you can tell that it's of significant size. This is definitely a man who has done well. And the walls are lined with what looks like these dusty, time-worn relics from, you presume, either his expeditions or his just collections. There's carved totems. There's ornate, worn weapons that don't actually look like any of the weapons that Ambrians use, or even barbarians for that matter. The floors are creaking underfoot. They are dark, polished. They reflect this flickering light of these antique oil lamps that are hanging from an otherwise low ceiling. There's this dry, kind of earthy aroma, and it's fairly bitter. And you realize that hanging also from the walls and from the ceiling, you see these bundles of herbs that are just burning away. And you're led from this entry area past what looks like a salon of some kind with some seating arrangements and into a dining hall that is dominated by this massive, darkly lacquered table. And it very easily could seat 20. It's enormous. And you can see the surface is marred by what look like countless knife marks. And there's a single deep gorge that runs its length almost the entirety of the table. And all around this room, there are trophies from Davokar, some Madjac you might recognize, like a very large Jakar or even a Meerkat, what looks like the tusk of an Abor, are hanging on the walls. They're twisted and fierce expressions, and their eyes are kind of flickering with that dim, gas lantern, or I should say lantern light from above. You also notice that there is a narrow passage that leads to a more lighted area, which you realize is an interior courtyard. It looks like this estate has an interior courtyard, and you can see these shapes of very exotic looking plants that you would not normally subscribe or suggest are native to this area. And then as you all are led in, at the very, very, very far end, you can see there is a man sitting there. He is wearing very colorful robes, which you imagine are of decent quality. And you see that there is he too is masked. I say man because you presume it to be. There's not necessarily anything one way or the other to indicate it. But his mask itself is much like the ones of the servant, are like carved, it seems, and polished to some degree, and really has no discernible emotion attached to it. It all seems very kind of flat, but you can't see any portion of his skin, as the robes and clothes he's wearing cover all of his arms, and you can see he's even wearing these gloves. He has a goblet in front of him, but doesn't seem to reach for it. And that's when you notice that, like, all down the hall, there's like 7 or 8 different servants that are just kind of standing at attention. Down that narrow passage, there's about 7 or 8 more at attention. And you hear the voice come out from underneath the mask at the far, far end.
Hello and welcome to my home. You seem to be looking for an Eric the Dark. No one has called me that in quite some time. I am an old man, and that was a moniker from my youth. As I think some of you might be familiar, plundering the darknesses of Davokar is a game for young fools. I am neither young nor foolish. Please, have a seat.
Thank you, sir. Your house is amazing. This collection, one of a kind, clearly.
I have labored significantly to make it so. I am told you are the one they call Damien.
Yes, sir. Would you rather we call you something different? I don't want to cause any offense.
Eric will do.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Eric.
and you notice that like his servants are kind of standing at the midway point of the table. They're not sitting down, they're just standing there. And so you guys are sitting on like the complete opposite side. So imagine this enormous dining room, and he's got this like secret service group, like just kind of protecting him. So like wherever you sit, you're like not sitting anywhere close to him. So what do you guys do?
I'll pull up a zip.
Madjac would be scanning like the upper floor, you know, like if there's a balcony or something.
Mm-hmm.
He's looking to see if anybody's covering us from above. He wants to know the
right. You did see stairs. You did see stairs when you were being moved back to the dining hall, but the dining hall doesn't seem to have like a balcony over top of it.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. There's some very low rafters, and that's where like some of the light and some of the herbs are burning right now. So as you sit, some of the servants come in and they set goblets down in front of you, and they start pouring from these carafes what looks like some kind of dark wine, maybe. Smells fruity, and he says, I hope you don't mind. The vintage is not its best. I was unaware I would be having guests.
Well, your hospitality is more than we could possibly have asked for. Thank you so much for inviting us.
Madjac pushes the goblet away. He's like, I don't drink.
We could find
thank you.
something else for you.
I'm fine. I appreciate the hospitality. I'm here for the conversation.
Insist.
I'm sure you do.
It's amazing.
Cider, please, for the monster hunter.
And you see someone scurries out and comes back, and they pour like a completely different drink in front of you, Madjac, and you can see it's just some sort of like it's a non-alcoholic beverage. It just sort of pours down in front of you, some kind of cider.
I haven't had a drink in a couple days. Bring it up to my nose, give it a smell, give it a sip.
Smells. It's pretty good, to be honest. Yeah.
I want to activate Witch Sight on them to try to get a dominant shadow.
My. This is the first time you have used this. I am so proud of you.
Awesome.
Going witchy.
Goodness.
Nice.
Okay.
My eyes light up a bit.
You're gonna go blind with whatever is in his shadow.
Nice.
Okay. So, Witch Sight, this is the first time we've done it, so let's kind of talk about it. So, in Symbaroum, everyone basically has an aura, and that aura usually gives you indications of where they are at in this sort of spectrum of corruption to purity, etc., that kind of thing. And it is a specific ability, and for you, I think it's a cunning test? What is it? No, it's a vigilant.
Yeah, I'm novice, so vigilant against his
Modified by his discreet, which I'll tell you the thing in a second. Flat. It's flat.
Roll 7, so it passed.
When you look down, as your eyes kind of flare up and you're trying to do your best to hide it beneath the goblet, you see pulsating deep red with black veins. It's like a dying heart, just sickly and gross with these veins. It is an appalling look, in fact.
Did you say an abominable look?
I wouldn't go that far, no.
Okay.
Forget how bad the shadows are again.
That is not good. So you would definitely get the vibe that he is a man who has immersed himself somewhat in corruption. Yes, for sure. You don't see any outward signs that he has gone full abomination, like the woman you just fought in the pit yesterday. But you definitely get the sign that this is a man who has suffered significant corruption. At the same time, Jinzo, he admittedly has been a lifelong fortune hunter that goes out into Davokar, and that is the fact that fortune hunters do get soaked in corruption. And then since he collects artifacts, it's not unto itself, it's not necessarily revealing, other than it's just consistent with what you would know, and he seems to be,
And I'll take a temporary corruption for using that.
Okay, fair enough. So he looks out at you all and he says, so I'm told that you wish to speak with me about, what was it, Henrik? They asked about Warden and Fenia, sir. Yes. What is your interest in them?
Servants of yours, they gave us quite an ambush.
My servants. Ambush you.
Was it them or just people that had similar tattoos?
It was the tattoos that ambushed us, and those particular people were the ones at the auction house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just to make sure we're not like unfairly accusing anybody.
Was that in character or not? I couldn't tell.
I would say that's Damien legitimately like asking because he wasn't there for the ambush.
Yeah, that's true.
And
that's
he
true.
wouldn't want to like insult this guy's friends at his table if we're not 100% sure.
He says, I can tell you that Orwin and Fenia were indeed my servants. They were involved in some sort of altercation. But I can assure you, amends have been paid, and Saphira and I bear each other no ill will. Is that all?
Sir, we're dancing around the topic. All of your servants have that blotchy tattoo on their arm that we've seen so far. A group of people with the exact same tattoo ambushed us the other night using dark sorcery and archery in an attempt to kill us. While we were looking in an associate's bolt hole. So we're trying to get to the bottom to find out whether or not you've got a particular grudge against us, if these people are associated with you, or if it's just an unhappy coincidence. And thank you for the cider.
You haven't touched it yet.
It looks delicious.
It's very rude.
It's so good.
Madjac will take it up to his lips, take a sip, and be like, very delicious.
Okay.
Well, thank you for putting an old mind at ease. As for the mark,
And he reaches one of his arms out and he slowly rolls up, and you see on the inside of his arm there is a horrific scar.
it was during my first expedition into Davakar, a blight beast as tall as the building itself ripped the flesh away. It never healed correctly. Some of my staff have taken the mark in a flattering but misguided attempt to honor me. What they do in their own time, well, that is their business until it reflects poorly on me. Which is why Orwin and Fenia were my servants. They are no longer. And should you have...
Well, you may be missing several other servants as of the last time we encountered them. Several of them did not walk away from it. So you may need more staff.
Oh, do not worry. I have more than sufficient number here.
And you look around and there are quite a few.
Now, yes.
Just a quick question. I do apologize, darling, but the tablet, which was the point of contention, was partial tablet was not good enough or something like that. It was a ritual, Do you happen to have it, and are we allowed to look at it?
Yes and no. It is mine. I purchased it. I purchased it fairly. I was a fortune hunter for many years, and now I am a collector of artifacts and antiquity. I buy from many vendors, Kodamar, Erlebur, and Saphira, and sometimes hunters who wish to bypass the normal channels. I am no different than half the town, only more successful. I see no reason to justify this further.
That's
I was
fair.
learning about rituals, and it so happened that we needed to speak with you anyway about the attempted assassination attempt that occurred just a few nights ago, and then has happened to come up with this ritual. So I would, from an academic perspective, be quite interested in taking a look. Of course, what you paid with your money would remain yours.
If it was of interest enough to Ordo Magica, they are more than welcome to extend their policies that would allow them to have taken the item to begin with. They did not. It is mine now. You normally react so well to strangers entering your abode and demanding to see something you have acquired perfectly legally.
Oh, we are making no aspersions as to the way that you came about it. It's sometimes we come into possessions that we are quite taken with and want to share those with others. And she sort of points around to sort of the different like stuffed, sort of all of those things that are, kind of around that, it's not beneath him necessarily to, kind of have acquired something and leave it out for display.
We're still young and foolish, so we can't help but want to look into things.
Oh, very well said, Mr. Damien. I can assure you the tablet in question is harmless. It is incomplete, and it is likely it was not for anything of import. It is no different than the markings that were on the antique bell within the plaza. It is the residue of the Symbarian Empire. Is that not why we are all here? Looting.
So I guess it wasn't any sort of ritual that had anything to do with a well or anything like that.
Oh, most certainly not. That was not a ritual at all, but a warning system. The Symbarian people, as I'm sure the Ordo Magica adept can tell you, was a very powerful and ingenious people. One must be so for their works to endure all these centuries. It's a terrible thing what happened here in Thistlehold, but I would not say it is the well's fault, of course. It was merely a measurement, you see. The relative corruption within the area that triggered a warning system. Terrible thing. That sinkhole. So many poor people. But I admit to a great curiosity about what lies below. Avacar is a very dangerous place, after all. The underworld as well. But we are... Yes?
I was going to say, yes, Anadea thought much the same. I just want to see if he gets any reaction when he hears that name.
Another friend of yours?
You could say that.
Well... I must also say that, as with everything here in Davakar, we are mossed to a flame. And with such risk comes periodic tragedy. It is the price of doing business.
Jeff, can I do like a vigilance check to see how much he's lying in his
Sure.
sort of speech?
Yeah, go ahead. This will be modified by -1. Actually, no, -5. Actually, let's say it's persuasive. Yeah, -5. But this is persuasive.
Oh, ouch. Because I have con artist, regarding lies, if he is lying, then I would get a +1.
Okay, just roll it and let me know what you got,
Cool.
and then.
Yes. All right. I'll just do the -5 into it right now, for now.
Sure.
Oh, nope. That is not low enough.
It's very difficult to read of someone when you cannot see his face.
Yep. Had to try.
And Madjac, you were specifically seeing if he had any kind of reaction. You also can do a test if you want to see if he reacted to the Anadea name. Yeah. And let me know how you do with that. I will tell you this, that you have not yet seen him sip from his goblet since you sat down.
Doesn't have a little straw to go under his mask.
Oh.
That's a big no.
Oh,
It's a big
jeez.
fail.
It's, again, very hard to tell. He is a man that does not seem to reveal much.
If we ever wanted to talk to you and ask you questions, would you be open to trade? You seem
What?
to be a man who enjoys acquiring items. Would you... Not necessarily right now. I mean, the best I have is a very interesting sketchbook, and I wouldn't mind looking at tablets for a look at this mysterious sketchbook, which may or may not be of interest to you. I'm not sure. But if not, maybe some other bit we find that's interesting along our path we could bring and exchange for a discussion of sorts, maybe a viewing of things.
I am
future.
always open to acquiring valuable items. Exactly how does this sketchbook have value?
It's quite interesting in that it was found in the dormitory of a girl that was murdered and pushed into the sinkhole that used to be a well. For reasons unknown, we're still trying to find out, and it's filled with an incredibly detailed bits of pieces that are areas and people that she shouldn't necessarily have been to or seen for her status.
I am sorry to disappoint you, madam, but that sounds trifling dull. My interest is in artifacts and treasures. The scribblings of a murdered girl. I have no interest. And as for the bronze well, you seem remarkably misinformed. That is not the bell that turned into the sinkhole. The antique plaza itself would currently be caved under. Perhaps you need a geography lesson.
Perhaps. But if that isn't of interest, then as long as perhaps you are open to discussions in the future when maybe we do have something of a higher value to you, maybe we can have lunch again sometime.
Well, maybe. Thus far, I am immensely disappointed. I thought you all were more significant and substantive. I see
well.
that
Well,
is
we're
not the case.
terribly
Life is
sorry to
disappointing.
disappoint you. Thank you for not trying to kill us. We'll keep our secrets to ourselves. You keep your secrets to yourself, and we'll bid you a fair day.
It really was
Madjac
really
gets up because
appreciated.
he's pretty sure things are going to start to throw down here.
It is very rude to stand from your host table without permission. That is twice now. You have aggrieved me.
I'm poorly educated, so I humbly request your forgiveness.
Perhaps. Yes. You might wish to sit down, Mr. Madjac. Now!
If I'm
Sit down now.
Madjac looks at me, he's like, I don't think that's going to happen at this point. If you've got problems, we can solve them. Or we can leave.
Mr. Madjac, you are an arrogant fool.
That's
You
an
have
accurate
wandered
description.
into my home with very little knowledge of myself, and you have aggrieved me severely. I received a missive saying that you all were capable witch hunters from Indaros. No, you are not. You are foolish. You are arrogant. And you are clearly in over your heads. I was considering letting you all leave. But then I so very much dislike when I bring guests into my home, and they aggrieve me so. I suppose then there is but one choice.
And you guys all hear the sounds of footsteps, like the people moving, the sounds of like metal and steel, as you're being surrounded by about 24 of his servants. And we're going to go ahead and call it there.
Oh dear.
And we'll pick up on that next time with a brand new party of players.
It's like,
Very excited.
This is why Madjac did not want to go in this guy's house.
All we had to do
All right.
was stay
I
polite.
didn't need to
allegedly.
heal for lunch, huh?
I'll tell you.
Rowena's like,
Just have
I'll
to stay
tell you
polite.
a story about when we went down below, maybe. We can trade a story.
You know.
We're getting out of here alive.
Telling
we
people we're
were.
witch hunters.
Right? I know.
It's a great question.
I want to know
If only,
who's telling stories.
if only you didn't piss him off, maybe he would have told you. Maybe he would have told you. We'll see. We'll pick up on the next time. We'll see if anyone survives, and maybe halfway through we'll start a different game because everyone will die. I don't see how you're going to win this
Oh
one.
dear. Oh dear.
Let's go ahead. Let's hit some close with Tinker 2 XP, and then
Yes.
we'll go ahead and do some closing plugs. Let's go ahead and start with Aaron. Aaron, what you got going on over at Garblag?
So you can check us out next Wednesday at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We'll be returning to Marvel Multiverse, The Cataclysm of Kang, Chapter 5, where our heroes are going to be storming the Supremacy to save the Eldritch Knight, who has been captured and is in the clutches of Nanny. So that should be fun. And then
Awesome.
on Thursday
You
at the
got
same
Nanny
time...
in?
Oh, I got Nanny in. I got
you got
Nanny in
Nanny.
and the prison chairs.
Oh, that's so
goodness.
good.
Just go back and watch it. It's a fantastic episode.
Fair enough.
Then on Thursday at the same time, Lewis will be jumping in the seat for some more of the One Ring. They're starting the Forging of Small Dooms campaign as a group of Durance folk and Nagrad dwarves delve into Moria.
Very excited and very jealous. I really want to get back to One Ring. Just finding the time and the place for it right now.
Maybe
in the
next
schedule.
Thursday after we die.
Maybe next Thursday after you
I
all
never played
die.
One
I
Ring.
was promised Azrim.
Oh, that's right. RZ. Well, we could do like a couple sessions of. Oh, did I tell you I got my shipping notice?
Oh,
yeah, it should be here. It should it should be here next week. So I'm very excited. So, all right. We'll see how it goes. Maybe TPK. We switch over to one of these other games. We'll see.
Yeah.
What else we got going on? Tomorrow, Aaron, you're also running that. What we got going on tomorrow?
So tomorrow night here, Adventures in Lollygagging, I will be continuing our Dragonborn Mayhem, Mirth and Mayhem campaign. We last left off of our intrepid heroes on a hot air balloon being piloted by Professor Diggs as they're looking for a enormous tortoise named Sandro that has a trading post on his back.
Very excited.
I am sure that they will get themselves into some trouble tomorrow night.
I am so ridiculously excited. Jeremy, you would love my character. He is a swole frog knight.
Yeah. Galahop.
Galahop.
I love it.
It's so good. He just leaps. He literally leaps into battle. Get it? Leaps
Amazing.
into battle.
Yeah.
It's part of his thing. All right. Anyhow.
Yeah.
So after that, Saturday, very excited as we have the finale of our Huckleberry game. Our dear friend Steven, he has developed and designed and written an amazing Weird West game that released a little over a month ago. And we have been running it for the past few weeks on Saturday through one of the first scenarios that you're going to be able to get for Huckleberry called the Divine Comedy. We are on session 4. It will be the finale. Very excited for it, and we'll see who survives. Somebody will probably survive. They killed all the people who were driving the boat. So not sure they thought that one through a little bit, but we'll find out. Whoopsie. And then Monday, I think we got Fragged Empire. Is that right, Jeremy? It's Fragged, right? Fragged Empire. Yeah, I catch me, Melissa, Jeremy playing that again. Haven't played that in a while because we were doing Ragtag, so it's going to be fun to get back to that. And then Tuesday, you can see a group of us here playing through some Star Trek as that dear friend Steven hops into the GM seat, and we are trying to find. Well, actually, now we're trying to sort of diffuse like a time bomb or something like that on an old Star Trek vessel that is or somewhere where it shouldn't be. Why Romulans are screwing with us. So come see how that happens. And then Symbaroum, we bid goodbye to these characters and figure out what we do next. All right, that's Thursday. All right, we're going to go ahead and raid Insomnia Night RPG. Thank you again to Lost Caravan RPG. Thank you again to Matt and Hat. And I think it was Demon X, right? Those are the 3.
Mm-hmm.
So we're gonna pay that forward. We're gonna raid Insomnia Night. See y'all later. Bye bye.
See ya.
Good night.
Bye.
See ya.